Hey everybody, Adam Savage at Propstore alongside Brandon Alinger. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Adam.
We are about to open the gates of hell.
Yeah, the Necronomicon.
I have like 4 different replicas of this piece because it is such a compelling part of my early horror movie life.
Okay.
This is from Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, this is Evil Dead 2. How does it strike you in person? Is it as you expected it to look?
I've always wanted to see this up close because the replicas get the topology roughly correct, but none of the replicas really feel like it's a face stretched over a book. So it's lovely to see it here, where my biggest surprise is that it's smaller than I thought it was.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I think the replicas I have are more like a real 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and I think this is more like 8 by 9.5.
A bit smaller.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, this is a stunt version. The pages inside are black and white. They're not full color pages.
Okay.
They did make both pages with color versions and black and whites for the film. This one was specifically called out based on the gentleman that it came from who worked on the production as being in early scenes of the film where they find it kind of in the cave and it's covered in dust. So I think they put Fuller's Earth all over the cover.
Hence all the dirt in there.
Yeah, in the nooks and crannies. But it's a really neat prop, you know, with this cast latex cover that's been stretched around it, and then obviously a huge amount of work on the interior pages, doing all the graphics and designs.
And the way in which the latex wraps around really does feel like human skin. Like they've really nailed that part.
Slightly creepy.
And because it's latex, we're not going to open it here on camera. You guys did. You guys have beautiful photographs of the pages.
Look, we can probably open it a little bit, but it's just the latex cover is a little bit delicate. So it doesn't really want to open in full like a book, but you can open enough just to get a sense of the pages.
I mean, there's something I love so much about the comic style of the drawings in this film. They felt like the horror comics I was reading in the 70s. And I'm sure Sam Raimi's working on the same reference material.
It was deliberate, yeah. I love the aging, you know, it's, you can see they've burned some of the edges of the pages here.
They've crumpled the hell out of it. They've really gone quite a lot farther than most replicas do.
Interesting. And I wonder, when they do the replicas, are people aware of what all the page contents are, or is that being guessed at?
No, I believe that is now a knowable thing.
Okay.
I think all the pages were released as a replica as part of one of the DVD sets, if I'm not incorrect.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the back of it.
The back. Take note. Take note. This is really important reference here. Again, they've really gone to like make it feel like it's been stretched.
Yeah. Tweaked over the thing. Yeah,
that's such an important gesture to get this horrifying object to look right.
And a lot going on with the paintwork too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I mean, I always love pointing out that like paint is so much more than 1 or 2 colors, and there's like 5 or 6 going on here. Also, can we crack it just a little bit more? I love looking at the interior. That looks really great. I mean, oh wow. And this came from someone who worked on the production.
Yeah, I think these were made by a number of different effects artists, but one of the key guys involved is named Tom Sullivan, and then another guy who was directly involved is named Brian Ray. And this one came from Brian Ray. It has a detailed letter of its history from Brian. Calls out the details of how they made these, how many they made, the fact that this one was used for that opening tomb sequence, et cetera. And you know, this is another piece where this is the only one that we've had come through auction. I don't know if any others have ever been offered at auction, but you know, it is an exceedingly rare thing. I think someone said that Sam Raimi himself still has the primary hero one.
I hope so.
But to have any from the film is pretty special. And there's a little Easter egg with this. This exact one, we believe, was reused in the film Jason Goes to Hell, where you know they tie things back together, and the Necronomicon makes another appearance.
I love multiple franchise props.
And I think we screen matched it to Jason Goes to Hell. I think when you're looking at Evil Dead 2, it's covered under the dust.
Yeah.
Very hard to screen match, but I think when you go look at Jason Goes to Hell, there's specifics with the interior pages that can be matched exactly to the screen.
I am right now itching to go home and accuratize my Necronomicon.
Yeah. Is that a word?
You know
Accuratize?
I mean. What's that?
Is that a word?
Accuratize?
Accuratize?
I think that's a word.
Yeah, okay.
Can we vote that that's a word?
It's your word.
Sure. It's really spectacular. You said you've never had one of these before.
No, we have. This is the first one we've seen. And look, I mean, Evil Dead 2 is just one of those, I think, sort of classic 80s era titles that's just beloved. It's like people that saw it at the right time just adore that film.
Dude, there's a before
Maybe
and
you're
an
one of
after.
them?
No,
Yeah.
I was right up the middle for that one, and there's a before and an after. Like I saw that, and when the girl starts doing pirouettes, but her head's not moving, I was like,
yeah.
this is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, what is the prop to have? I mean, maybe the chainsaw, but this is right up there.
I
right?
like this even better than the chainsaw, and I have made the chainsaw replica.
Okay.
It's all about the Necronomicon to me,
Yeah.
and it's because of that incredible comic style on the pages inside.
Yeah. And just how much there is to get lost in, and kind of like a Grail diary or something. It's just, there's so much going on in there. As a prop fan, a lot of details to drink in.
So there's a lot of pages of just symbols in there that I'm not sure I remember. So I'm not positive that I'm right that the pages are known. I know I recognize some of the pages in here.
Right.
But it's
It
very
might be
plausible
interesting.
that...
Some remain a mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah, until you win it in our auction, or someone does.
So yeah, if you win this, you can solve that mystery.
Yeah.
The auction is happening in August.
It's coming up, yeah. August 15th to 18th at the Peterson Automotive Museum here in LA. There's going to be a preview evening the night before where this will be on display along with many other pieces. Yeah, so come check it out, propstore.com.
And how often do you put something up for auction and then learn new stuff about it after it's up for auction?
It actually does happen quite a bit. You know, obviously when things come in, we have the information that's come from the consignor. We'll go away and do our own research.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of knowledge out there. And so you will have people who step forward and go, look, I've been studying these a long time, or I was directly involved with those. I worked on the film, FYI, X, Y, or Z. So, you know, part of what we're doing here at Propstore is to kind of distill all that knowledge together and figure out what, you know, A, the sort of the truth is behind these things, and B, the most interesting facts that we can present to the fans and collectors.
I'm curious if Propstore codifies that by even writing up those stories when you sell a piece, or are they just verbally passed on?
Well, certainly if it's material enough, we will try to include it in the catalog description.
Right, but I'm assuming that if it's not in the catalog and then someone comes up to you and gives you more information, that you pass that on to the new owner.
Well, or we do go in and update the descriptions.
Amazing.
You know, I'm trying to think of what a good example would be, but there's definitely instances where, you know, the other thing that sometimes happens is at the time the catalog is going to print, we're not aware that something is screen matched or photo matched. And then 2 weeks later, somehow we discover a photo and go, wait, it matches this one. So then we will modify the title and say, oh, it's actually matched, you know? For example, in this auction, we have the Russell Crowe arena sword from Gladiator. When we wrote that description, we didn't know that sword was going to play in Gladiator 2.
In the trailer.
That's now a really interesting fact. The trailer just came out a couple of days ago. So now we'll go back in and edit the description for the online catalog to say, by the way, this sword is going to be in Gladiator too.
And so clearly production thinks of it as a super important narrative sword within Maximus's story.
Right, its level of prominence has been raised, you know, now it's in 2 Gladiator movies. So.
Fascinating, right, of course. This is always a moving target. I'm curious also, I know that sometimes you'll sell something and then years later that same buyer will resell that object through you. How often do they show up with new stories you hadn't heard when you sold the piece?
It does happen. I mean, look, I think a big part of collecting is loving the material, and people who love the material tend to research the material, and research just uncovers information. So, you know, look, obviously we're trying to include as much detail as we can when we're selling a piece, but no one source or one person knows everything, so new facts do come out. In some cases, you know, we've sold something a long time ago, the knowledge base was what it was, the reference base was what it was at that time, and now it's interesting to look at it with fresh eyes and go, hold on, let's pull that film up on 4K, can we screen match something? I remember a couple years ago we had a stunt Aliens pulse rifle. Steven had sold it more than 20 years previously. They didn't know much about them then, they just knew it was a pulse rifle. Now we said, let's go through Aliens on I don't even know if it was 4K, but Blu-ray, and we were able to screen match it. So just, you know, again, the knowledge base of everything in this collecting world has really progressed over the past, let's say 10 years especially, and we are sometimes able to uncover new facts, which is fun. And the other thing is just photos coming out, right? We know when they're making a movie, they take so many still photos, but only a certain percentage of those is ever accessible to the public. And then a new book will come out or a new DVD something, and there'll be new reference material, and you'll go, wait a minute, that's the Slimer with the drinking face that we hadn't seen before, or whatever it might be, you know? So we love that kind of stuff. We love being able to triangulate and connect the dots on a proper costume that we couldn't in the past.
That's really lovely. I mean, these are objects and they carry these beautiful stories. If you know anything that we got wrong about this, let us know in the comments. You want to know? I want to know. Tell us how many pages have been seen. I am sure there are people watching who know more than we do.
Yes, we'll tune in.
All right, see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. We have some brand new merch available at the store. A dog's age ago, I mean like 2018, 2019, this wonderful graphic designer named Brian Otterer reached out to us and sent us some stickers. He has a design firm called Dash 3 Dots, and we loved his stickers so much we wanted to sell them on the merch store. Well, he updated them with our new logo, and we've got Adam in Martian spacesuit sticker. We've got Adam in the shuttle suit sticker. We've got Adam in the Apollo suit sticker. And my personal favorite, Adam in the alien spacesuit sticker. Get yours now, tested-store.com. Hey!